the beam, because it's time for Nerdy for 30, the podcast where we talk about nerdy-ish movies for 30-ish minutes. My name is Kevin Bauer, a.k.a. the Critics' Choice. With me, as always, the People's Champ, Tim Cack.
If you feel it, chase it, baby.
If you feel it, chase it. And we are thrilled to be talking about another installment in the Scream franchise. To do so, we have a very special guest with us here today. She's the writer and star of the short film Mr. Oberbeck, which debuted at the Lower East Side Film Festival. Her solo show, Laura, played to sold-out crowds at the Annoyance Theater NY. She's been featured on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, and Chris Gethard presents It's Laura Oberbeck.
Yay! Laura!
Yay!
How'd you come up with the name for your show?
It was tough. I couldn't think of any other title except myself. So
it's a good one.
That's how you know. That's how you know it's there.
All caps, though. That was kind of important. I was Laura in all caps. And sometimes people didn't get that right.
I could tell when I said it just now, I could tell that I didn't hype it as all caps. We're going to go back through and edit that in separately. Is the Scream franchise in all caps? I believe it is, isn't it?
I don't
know. Google has it lowercase right now. Scream 2, horror / mystery.
You know, it's the first of many times I'm going to be wrong today. But Laura, this is one that we talked about. I think we talked about this at like a dinner party at some point. If you know, this is a great franchise that means a lot, I think, to all of us here. And we knew that we wanted to cover one. We did a Scream episode last October, and it was so much fun to do that. We knew we wanted to do Scream 2. We reached out to you for this one, and an incredible fit of circumstance, coincidence, whatever it is, you had a screenshot of Laurie Metcalf's death saved on your phone, which I think tells us that it was meant to be.
5 years ago, super stoned, like stoned out of my mind with a friend. And we kept just rewinding and watching that over and over. It is an iconic. It's so crazy. I can't believe Neve Campbell like keeps a straight face. It cuts to Laurie Metcalf and she's fully cross-eyed. For those that don't know. And then Neve Campbell and Courtney Cox have to look at each other fully serious and be like, she's dead, blah, blah, blah. That's the killer. And like the whole dramatic scene. Courtney Cox has like a gunshot wound and she's like, it's like crazy that they could act through that. I'm impressed.
Just remarkable. That whole climax is completely bananas. It's like so much is going. It's so good. Theatrical. It's literally happening on the set of a stage production.
Yeah, I was thinking about because Laurie Metcalf is I think she's a really good actor, but she's like a complete mess in it. It's insane. She is so crazy. Her eyes, her eyes are so like wide that you can't, the whites are like insane. Just like it's mostly white eyeball. And she holds it. She doesn't blink. And she holds just this like insane, like wide open eye look for like 15 minutes.
Yes, so sick.
Also impressive. But yeah, I think she's just too theatrical in this performance.
It's a very theatrical movie. Yeah. I mean, they're doing theater. There's an incredible, way too short scene of Neve Campbell acting in this play, delivering lines that are just incredible and fascinating. Could have been way low. I did not enjoy that part. Neve Campbell, I was a little burned out on her. I'll be honest. The first part of this movie, I was just, just the whole thing of them in college and the crew hanging out. And there's something about Jerry O'Connell that I'm just not on board for. Sorry, Jerry. I don't know what it is, but I suspected him the whole time. And even at the end, when he definitely is not the killer and he's killed, I'm like, good. That's still just like, good for my peace of mind. Like we still need to get that Jerry O'Connell piece off the board and move away from it. I find him to be so obnoxious. I think maybe just in general, maybe as a person, Jerry O'Connell, wherever you are,
bad guy in real life. Like
come
I
on
think
the
he
pod.
dates like 18-year-olds. I think he's like not a good guy, right? Or maybe I'm just now that's going to come out and I'm going to be wrong. Is that wrong?
I believe it. I don't know if it's true.
I think I believe it.
At the very least, he's a weird tryhard now.
First.
Like he wants to host The View, but it's just never worked out for him. you know?
Yeah.
He's one of those people who really wants to be a daytime talk show host. And it's like, listen, Jerry, you just don't have it. Go back to sales or whatever you were doing before. I didn't realize until I started talking that I disliked Jerry O'Connell so much. But the whole time, him and Nev are there, I'm like, this is another boyfriend that I do not trust. And the whole time I'm thinking, Timothy Olyphant, incredible actor. This guy's holding it down. The only reason Jerry O'Connell is even tolerable is because Timothy Olyphant is hyping him up. He's dancing on the table. Timothy's there getting the crowd going. He is selling us on Jerry O'Connell not being the worst person in the world. And then at the end, to find out it was Timothy the whole time. What a twist. What an incredible twist. What a guy. Man, he's a lot of love for Oliphant, and just one of the many, many reveals at the end of this movie. There's like 5 reveals in this tumultuous conclusion, and I'm here for all of them. Even Courtney Cox coming in and being like, Courtney Cox is the killer? No, she's at gunpoint.
And then she gives her at gunpoint. I think Courtney Cox, I think Nev Campbell, I think those two for me were like the strongest actors kind of out of the bunch. I'm trying to think of any other good ones. I think David Arquette is just like hit or miss.
He's wild.
And he's just like a little too silly sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's a goofball.
That weird limp, and I'm like, that one's over the top. Come on.
Him falling down the stairs is so funny though. Where it's like, oh, Courtney Cox is going to get stabbed to death and he's just trying to help and he can't. So he falls down the stairs. It's like, God, this guy's just pathetic. He's just such a weird character that they've just like made him completely ineffective.
Yeah.
Didn't they say too, like as he's being loaded into the ambulance at the end, isn't there a line that basically says that the reason that the stabbing didn't kill him is because he already had so much scar tissue?
Scar tissue.
Which is like,
yeah,
he was only saved.
I think I fast forwarded that part and it was the end. So I was like, forget it. That's crazy. That's nuts.
He was only saved from being a bigger victim because he's been a victim so many times before.
That's nuts. I do like when they explain a lot of like things that you're kind of like, what? And then they explain it in the next sentence. That was fun.
Yeah.
I can't get over how a knife can go through a bathroom stall.
Oh my God.
That's a big one.
I couldn't stop thinking about that the whole movie.
Doesn't it go through a door too? With Jerry O'Connell, doesn't he almost get stabbed in the head? Door? Yeah.
They play with it a couple times because there's that one. And then for a split second on the set at the end, Nev Campbell has the axe, the emergency axe. And I thought she was going to go full Shining. And then she just dropped some set pieces. But
yeah. And I also couldn't get over that she climbs out of the car. That's a great scene.
The car scene is great. So
but
good.
then they show that the gun is still in that cop's hand, like on the hood of the car. And I'm like, why wouldn't Nev Campbell look for the gun that she knows he has in his hand? Because he's like threatening. First of all, why wouldn't he shoot when he was on the car? He keeps threatening to shoot, but that's fine. That's, a lot of movies is fine. But why wouldn't she just try to look for the gun?
Yeah, that seems weird.
Very strange.
She gets her friend out, which is weird to me.
You got to kill Ghostface in that situation. Okay. You're out of the car. You got to kill Ghostface. Also, once she's out of the cop car, can't she just open the back door and let her friend out? Why does her friend still have to crawl through?
It was stuck.
The whole door was stuck? She couldn't pull it open? The door was stuck. Oh, man. It was a conundrum.
Could have been solved. The gun thing could have been solved if it had just flown out of his hand.
Right, sure.
And was nowhere to be found. But they show it in his hand. And then you don't see it again. So I was
then Timothy Olyphant has it.
Oh, the cop. Yeah.
At the end.
Is. Oh, because they say the cop's gun.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I like to go a different direction now. I think it's because Nev Campbell respected the spirit of the Scream movies, which is stabbing. Like my biggest beef with this movie is that there's way too much gunplay in it. We're relying on guns way too much. It's too, there's too much distance to it. It's not as creepy and freaky as like that. Just all the like big ass, shiny, clearly plastic knives that they have in the other movies.
That's a good point. I think it holds up in general, though. Not as good as the first. I think the twists are fun. Laurie Metcalf, honestly, when I watched it super stoned 5 years ago, I did not see that coming. I was shocked. I was stunned.
No,
it's crazy.
Yeah. Great reveal. And you're so right. She's so good. Have you both watched Hacks on HBO?
No.
Oh, she plays the tour bus driver in one of the seasons, and she's not in a lot. Her character's name is Weed. I don't even want to say she's one of the most immediately hilarious people I've ever seen on screen. She just absolutely demolishes every scene that she's in.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I was thinking, because she is very like theatrical. She's almost so theatrical that it almost so over the top that it then becomes like good in this movie. You know what I mean? It's like, it's like so crazy that it's like makes sense, you know? Like it doesn't quite lose me. It's so lost that it then picks me back up, the performance, and I'm there with it. But I was thinking about her theater career, and I saw her in A Doll's House Part 2 on Broadway. And I forgot about that. And she was really good in that.
Was she the killer in that one?
I thought about going to that.
She came out in a scream mask at the end.
No.
She did. For the bows. And everyone was like standing cheering. And then she like did the scream, and then she pulled out a scream mask just to do the audience, just to bow. It was really cool. Because people know her from that. People who go to the theater, people who go to see Broadway and pay $200 to sit and see a Broadway play definitely know from Scream.
It's a big overlap. That Venn diagram's a circle. Yeah.
Gosh. I had some random questions from this one on this rewatch. I'd love to get your opinions on. Do the sorority sisters, Portia and what's her face, do they actually want Sydney in the sorority?
No.
What's their deal?
No.
They're just bullying her, but also it seems like they're like giving her a tour and trying to sell her on it. Do they just want to be around her because she's famous? Like, what's going on there?
They're classic sorority sisters.
The fame is such a good point. Yeah, I didn't think about that at all. I think you're probably right there. They just kind of want some attention by proxy. They want their
sorority house to be like the it sorority house. And so they need like a name.
Yeah,
gotcha.
I think that's the move.
They're trying to get hyped up. I do also think it's hilarious that when they find out there's cops at another sorority house, they deliver the news with the biggest smiles on their face. They are giddy that there are police at the other sorority. Something's going on, and they can barely contain their excitement. And then it's, Sarah Michelle Gellar like lying bleeding in the street. Very funny, very weird. They're crazy characters.
Dude, I'll tell you why on that one. Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was going to say, I looked it up. This college apparently is in Ohio. Like, apparently the college is supposed to be in Ohio. No idea how Sydney and Jamie Kennedy both ended up in Ohio after being somewhere in like Napa in the first movie. But they're there, and they have probably learned what everybody else in Ohio already knows, which is that there's nothing going on in Ohio.
Absolutely
just a
nothing.
little bit of excitement is enough to get them going. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was saying I'm from Missouri, and there's almost nothing going on in Missouri too. But Ohio, I think, is even worse. I think it's even more boring. Yeah. Missouri would have been a good place to set Scream.
Is Missouri where Ozarks is set?
Mm-hmm.
Or Ozark?
Mm-hmm.
Are the Ozarks in Missouri?
The Ozarks are in Missouri, yeah. Big meth capital of the world.
Oh, hell yeah. The meth undertones in Scream 2 are definitely bleeding out into all the performances, I think.
I think Laurie Metcalf's character was on a little bit of something.
Definitely
Laurie Metcalf?
Metcalf.
Damn. She's got a problem. This is also like the first one, like Scream's always kind of meta, but this is the first one where it's like, oh, there's a movie about this thing. And they get celebrities to, like, Heather Graham's just in it. Luke Wilson's in it. Tori Spelling. It's like, they're all so good. And I love them. And they're just doing scenes that we've already seen from the first movie, but for some reason it is so captivating and so funny and just, I don't know. I feel like today it would be like too over the top, but for this movie at this time, it's so good. It just works for me.
I was gonna say, I love how they have like every celebrity in that movie. It is fun. It is fun to see like Tori Spelling in that clip, and like Heather Graham gets killed in the movie. Yeah, that's really fun.
It was such a cool way to deliver that exposition too, because like there were a couple moments where, you know, the concept of Metcalf being Billy Loomis's mom relies on you knowing that Billy Loomis's mom abandoned him. And we get that exact clip from the movie played out with Luke Wilson and Tori Spelling. So it's like, this is such an inventive way to give us back the exact scenes that we need to know from the first movie. Love that.
It is such a good franchise. I think it kind of fell off around 4 or 5, but then it picked back up for sure. Like this last one, 6, was so good. Do you guys see it in New York City?
I still haven't seen it.
Oh,
Kevin hasn't seen any of the Scream movies.
I'm
for
taking
some
my
reason.
time. That's the only one that I have left. We're taking our time with it. You can't
So
rush this
silly.
stuff.
Well, I won't
This is
spoil
a
it, but
wonderful
it's
franchise.
set in New York City, which
I like
is like
5. Yeah.
You like 5?
Yeah, I like 5. 5 is like the first, and then
Is 5? Have you seen 5, Kevin?
Yeah, that's the first
many
Jenna
are out
Ortega
now?
one.
Jack Quaid's the killer.
Yeah. Yep.
Fun fact: I went to school with Jack Quaid. He was my acting buddy, scene partner.
Really?
Classes. Yes.
Oh man, we should get him on the pod.
I'm trying to get him in my movie.
Yes, do it.
Hell yeah.
Uh,
We'll do the movie on the
He's
pod.
booked and busy, but maybe he'll see this podcast and then he'll be like, "I know that girl."
he will. He's a listener. He's a dedicated fan for sure.
Yeah.
He's been like bugging us via email for months to try to get on, and we're like, nah, dude, we're packed up. Like, can't just have anybody on here.
Yeah.
Why is Sarah Michelle Gellar in the sorority house by herself?
She's sober sister.
What's sober sister?
Sober sister is everyone else gets drunk, and then if they need a ride, they call the house, and then she goes and picks them up.
What?
Oh my God, it was Uber before
She
Uber.
says on the phone, she says, they say, "Why are you in the house alone?" And she says, "I'm sober sister." And they say, "What's sober sister?" And then she explains.
Yeah,
I did.
I've seen this movie so many times. I have no
knowing
idea.
it.
Sober sister. That seems crazy. Can't they just walk to the sorority house? None of them are driving. How far away is it? How can't you be sober
It's
sister at the
Ohio.
party?
I don't know. It's Ohio, so things are kind of spread out.
Yeah.
But her
You
friend
know,
just walks
seems
out the
like it's a
door.
big
She's not
campus.
getting in a car and driving. They're all walking.
Yeah, but like, do you want to walk back somewhere when you're drunk? You don't want to walk back somewhere when you're drunk.
Do they really make a sister drive like the sorority van, like you're shuttling to the airport from the parking lot or something, and just go pick everyone up at the end of the night? It seems like a lot. Like that's why you
Maybe
pay
it's
dues
like
and
the
stuff for,
children's
right?
leash. She has like a leash. You know, the children who like are on.
Yes.
You know, you see them in like New York where they're like they have like the little leash on their waists and they're all connected, and then their teachers like maybe it's like that.
See, that would work. That would make sense. Just something to like keep everybody corralled together.
Yeah.
Oh God, those things are so funny to me. Those little like kid leashes. It's just the goofiest visual possible. I love that.
And it's those kids are always the cutest kids.
Yeah.
Yes.
The kids off the leash, not as cute. The kids on the leash
Right.
are always so cute.
Because the cute kids get taken. So the parents know they have to keep them
That's true. Yeah.
close. You got an Uggo, you just let them run free, you know?
Yeah, that's a
actually
free range kid.
Free range kids are ugly as hell. Yeah, you ever seen a chicken out in the wild? Disgusting. Beat up. Ugh, gross. Give me a bird that's been locked up its whole life. That's when you get the good stuff. Nice and plump. That's the good eats.
Oh my God.
How many death threats over the phone would it take before you ran out of the house?
Me?
Because doesn't she also get threatened and then her sorority sister's there and then she's still toughing it out? Seems like a lot.
Yeah, I would. I think I would immediately leave. We had an intruder in recently.
Wait, whoa, what?
In your
we
in
had
your
an
apartment?
intruder come into our apartment from our backyard door. It turned
What
out
the fuck?
it turned out to be a crazy story. So I was asleep. Thank God. I was saying that if I was awake for any of this, I would have just like bitten off my tongue and bled. I would have just killed myself immediately to like, because I was so scared. I would have been like, that's fine. You don't have to kill me. I'll kill me. But yeah, someone came in through our back door and it was 1:00 in the morning and Sebastian thought it was me and like was like, that's weird. I thought Laura was asleep, and then turned in the hallway and there was a man that he thought was like unhoused and like didn't have shoes on, was in just like a frenzy. And Sebastian said he was just like kind of hunched over in the corner. He said it was one of the scariest things that's ever happened to him. And like Sebastian had to like usher him out of our apartment. And then it ended up being our neighbor who was just very high on mushrooms and was jumping all of the fences and trying to get, because he was like trapped in like all of the backyards that are like connected. He couldn't get out onto the street. So he was like trying to get out, and because he was like so high on mushrooms. So it ended up just being him, very high on mushrooms. It was very funny, but not for Sebastian.
That's a sweet story.
Yeah. Have you met this neighbor before, or was this how you met this neighbor?
No, but like we have seen him ever since, and he's like always very like ashamed, and Sebastian's so kind of like shaken from it that he like gets a little bit like I don't know, like takes his breath away every time that he like sees him. And this guy is like, I will say, huge, and also has the deepest voice I've ever heard in my life. Because they like him and his partner like came to our door the next day and like apologized, and we were like, totally fine. We just hope you're okay. And he was like, yeah, like he has like a David Lynch deep voice, like a character from a David Lynch movie. It's insane. But yeah, that's my heart.
Crazy.
That's my scream story.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Pretty fun. And you should lock your doors because we didn't lock our door.
Really, in Brooklyn? I feel like I have an open door policy. You know, I trust my neighbors. Just anyone comes in and out. It's like college, you know, just like people come by to visit, just hang out, eat some lunch, hit the road.
I guess in a way it's like our intruder story was just some guy high on mushrooms. So it's like not very dangerous. So maybe you shouldn't lock your door.
You met a neighbor.
Yeah, I think
you've built community.
So don't lock your doors.
You have a friend. Yeah. I mean, if you want to meet people, keep those doors unlocked, open even.
that's the thing.
Know?
People always talk about, you know, how hard it is to meet friends after 30. It's because you're keeping those doors locked. And you know what? Locked doors, locked hearts.
Yeah, 100%.
Closed doors, closed minds.
God damn. You know, real talk, though, if that had happened to me, that person would have been hit with a baseball bat. Like, it sounds like there was way more tolerance for a stranger being in a house from Sebastian than I would have. I'm coming out swinging.
You're breaking every bone in your body trying to stop this guy.
He handled it perfectly because he was assertive but safe. Because the guy was high on mushrooms. So if he like hurt him, it would have been like a worse situation. So he was like, sure. I have to go now. And the guy was like, yeah, I'm just trying to get out. And I think he was able to like suss out but I do often think like when I drift off to sleep, I do often think about like, what if that neighbor, like what if it had been like an hour later and Sebastian was asleep and I woke up and that neighbor was like in our bedroom.
Oh God.
I think I would have died by suicide is what I'm saying. So if anyone calls me with a death threat, I'm just going to be like, my kind of like defense is just going to be like, you don't have to, I got this, and just like blow my brain out. Don't worry, I'm 2 steps ahead of you.
Gosh. Okay. So do people keep you locked up on Halloween? You know, I would hate to see you in a haunted house or something where your first instinct is to blow your brains out.
Well, a haunted house, you know.
It's something I can't remember if I've told this story on the podcast before, but that was something where we went to, so like as a kid, I hated horror movies and everything. And like haunted houses were absolutely beyond me. I'd been through a couple. I grew up in a town with a theme park in it. So, I had exposure to them and I hated them. My family, when I was 9, took a vacation down to Cancun, and we were at a resort. It was October, so they had a haunted house set up in one of the like conference rooms for one of the nights. And my dad really wanted to go in it, and he talked me into it. And he's like, "It won't be bad. They can't touch you. Like, that they can't touch you. So if you get scared, just close your eyes, because like they can't touch you at all. You'll be fine." In Mexico, they can touch you. That is a thing. That is a very United States rule is the no touching. So we went in there, and like the first jump scare, the dude grabbed me by my ankles, and I just fucking sprinted out of there. Like absolute. When you're told that like here is the safe boundary and it's immediately invaded, it's like, this is the worst. This sucks.
That's really scary. Yeah. What's the scariest thing is that the scariest thing that's ever like scary movie, scary thing?
I think that's probably the most scared I've been in a moment. Yeah. In my life. Mm-hmm. Outside of like health scares, like adult scares. That's probably the scariest.
I meant like fun.
Yeah.
Like, I'm scared. Like my heart's racing.
Yeah.
Park or something. Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know, but I had a friend in college. We went to like Universal like horror nights, just like on the like not touching thing. And she was the most scared person I've ever seen. And it was so fun because because they just had people walking around with like chainsaws and just scary people moving around. And every time she saw one, she would run and they would chase her. And it happened so many times. We're talking like 8, 9 times.
Yeah.
And then finally we were like, if you don't run, they won't chase you. And the next time she got scared, she didn't run. The guy didn't chase her. And I'll tell you what, it really ruined the evening.
Yeah, it's fun to react. Like when I saw Get Out in theaters, everyone was like reacting like you should.
Yeah.
And even for this movie, I did a jump scare twice in this movie. I like audibly like gasped.
What are the big ones?
And, like, jerked.
Oh, yeah. What are the parts?
In Scream 2?
Yeah.
I forgot already. I watched it yesterday. So
that's scary.
Yeah, I totally forgot. I think one was early on, and then it was just one of those like stings where it's like, oh, one was when they're in the film school, and I think something happened, and he's like jumps out.
Oh, the scene with Dewey and Gail. Yeah,
actually, gosh. I know what it was. It was Dewey was like, he's not here, and then he's right next to Gail.
That's so good.
Scared me.
That's an amazing scene because they're watching tape that they have. And then the killer starts playing tape of the people that have already been killed. And then he starts playing tape of them. And meanwhile, they cannot just get it. They can't get enough of each other. They're like trying to catch a murderer, but they also are so overcome with passion for each other that they start hooking up on the desk. And the only thing that stops them is like, snuff films playing on the TV behind them.
It's so nice, that relationship. And in real life, that's how they met. They had a beautiful relationship. And they're divorced now, but it was good.
I was happy to see them on screen being chill together for Scream 5, because it's like, it's nice that we can still come back as a group, and it seems like everything's good between them.
Yeah, I don't feel like make assumptions, but I feel like they had like a good marriage and then a good divorce. That's like my fantasy about Courtney Cox and David Arquette's love stories. Like they had a great marriage, and then they're like, you know what? We love each other as friends. Let's just move on as friends. That's how I fantasize about them.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Same here.
When I think of true love, that's what I think of.
David Arquette did like a wrestling documentary like a few years ago, and she was in it. Like then they were just hanging out like buds. It's very cool.
Yeah, cool.
That rocks.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'm a big fan of them. If your friend, Jamie Kennedy, hypothetically gets a phone call from a killer on a campus, how far are you sprinting away from them? because they leave him alone. Their instinct is just, and it's Dewey who has zero mobility, but his instinct is, Gail, we've got to go. And they go to a super wide shot and they are just running off the edge of it. Like they are a football field's length away from this guy. And it seems like poor police work on Dewey's part. I get why he's on and off the force so many times.
I kind of think I would run away if my friend got a call.
Well, we know you would, but you'd be running to you'd be running to go kill yourself.
Fight or flight. And I'm like,
there's a cliff nearby and you're making straight for it.
What would you do if a stranger was in your bedroom at night? I think about this all the time because of that intruder situation. I truly, like, every night, almost every night before I go to sleep and drift off, I'm just like, what if he was in the bedroom?
I'd stab them.
What would you do? But what would your initial like reaction be?
Finally, I get to stab someone.
Yeah.
I did. So I had.
There's a part of me that's begging for it to happen.
Tim's been looking for an excuse for 34 years.
I have a tomahawk just waiting to get into just to taste skin.
I do. I mean, the baseball bat example, I really do have a Louisville Slugger next to my bed, like on my side of the bed. But in real life, I had in college at one point, I had night terrors during like a very stressful quarter at school. And I was living with one other dude. And one of the night terrors I had was that I truly, like, it felt so real. It's hard to describe if you haven't had it. And I thought that there was a guy who entered my bedroom with like a crowbar and another guy had entered my roommate's bedroom. Mm-hmm. And my actual response in that moment was to stiffen up and go, oh. So that's what I'm really bringing to the table.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a great reaction. They'd probably like laugh. Whoever was like the intruder would like laugh and be like, oh, that's so silly. What am I doing here? And then they'd be like, wait, this is silly.
Oh my God, dude.
Yeah. The situation is silly. Why am I here? I'll just leave.
Oh, let's go get breakfast. Silly breakfast. Yeah. We can be goofing together all day.
I think about that a lot though. Like if you could do something that would completely change the vibe to the point that it would like give them pause, like what would happen if that person's coming at you and you go like, oh my God, thank God, I need your help. Like, what do they do? Like, flips the script on them.
I feel like I've heard that, like, terrible advice in like college or something, where it's like, someone tries to fight, just get naked, and like, just take your dick out, and all of a sudden they're like, whoa, okay, no, I don't really feel like doing this, and you're just like, what, bro, bring it.
What if you like Ace Ventura, like did like your butt cheek, like just like turned around and like butt cheek Ace Ventura? I think that would be the silly. That would be like so nuts to just someone's like coming at you and you just turn around and start talking out of your butt cheeks.
Yes.
I think I would do that. I
would love to do that. Do one of those things where you trap the intruder and then you torture them with butt faces. And then, until the police come. Yeah.
That's a good movie too. Have you guys seen Ace Ventura?
Oh yeah.
I was thinking about the murder or the entry movie. I forget what that one was called, but yeah, Ace Ventura, classic. It's a banger. Have you heard of Jim Carrey? He's got some bangers. Yeah. The Grinch That Stole Christmas.
Oh, sure.
Way up there. Yes Man.
He's been on Broadway, right?
Probably. He's probably been to Broadway. Yeah.
He's been to Broadway.
He's seen shows, probably.
He's seen shows. He probably saw A Doll's House Part 2.
Yeah.
With Laurie Metcalf.
Everyone saw that show.
I wouldn't put it past him.
Did you guys see the show?
No,
I did not see that one. No.
We talked about it a lot. We talked about seeing it a lot.
We just can get the schedules to sync up. I feel like there's going to be a point, like, I feel like at a certain point, they will cycle through every combination of two people who have been on screen together in on-stage productions of Waiting for Godot. So I feel like at some point there will be a Waiting for Godot with Jeff Daniels and Jim Carrey.
That'd be fun.
I'm waiting for Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds, and then I'll go.
I'm waiting for some women to do Waiting for Godot. I'm waiting for Laurie Metcalf and Roseanne.
That's the big two. Comedy icons.
God, can you imagine Nev Campbell and Courtney Cox doing Waiting for Godot?
I think they could pull it off. I think they were the strongest actors in this movie, like I said. And I think they could do it. Courtney Cox I was watching her performance like more critically this time, and I really enjoy. She does a really good job in this.
Yeah.
In this whole franchise.
I think she's really good. I love Gail Weathers. Like that character is so much fun to me. And in general, like I think one of the reasons that this is such a strong franchise overall, I don't think there's like a truly terrible Scream movie. Even the ones that are kind of bad, they're still so much fun because the characters themselves are so much fun. And it's cool to see who gets carried over. Like Cotton Weary, Liev Schreiber is Cotton Weary. Little glimpse in the first one. Person you love to hate in this one. And then they dispatched him so early in 3. It's like really cool to see how people ride out the different movies that they're in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's great in this.
Yeah. I think also, wasn't that around the time of Friends? I think it's a good, like, it's different enough from her Friends character. But it's still Courtney Cox, but it's like, it's different. Yeah, it's different enough. And she just does a really good job at being like a bitch, but in a really lovable way.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's really fun in this.
She rocks.
Gosh. Man.
Any final thoughts on this one? What do we think? Scream 2. Where's it rank in the Scream pantheon?
That's a good. So for me, I think it's. Wait, so tell me a little more about Scream 3 really quick.
That's the bad one.
Scream. Yeah, that's the worst of them.
No,
that's the one
where it's her brother or her half brother.
What?
Yes, right. It's the Hollywood one, isn't it? LA.
Yeah. No, I actually like Scream 3. I'm gonna say Scream.
I don't remember that one at all.
I'm gonna say Scream 1, Scream 6, Scream 3, Scream 2, Scream 5, Scream 4.
Wow, yeah. 4 is at the bottom for you?
Is that Emma Roberts one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the bottom.
I feel like I really like that one.
It's kind of weak. I think I totally agree with 4 being the bottom of the barrel. I'd put 5 a little higher, I think, but it feels like a good list. 2 is like it really was surprisingly rewatchable on the rewatch. It's like, I dig it. It's a nice 90s college vibe. It's a fun one.
I mean, one of the things I thought about, I really didn't think about it all until we talked about it on our first Scream pod, was the idea of Ghostface as his own character. Like that he exists as like an Jason Voorhees character or like a Leatherface where he's kind of like his own entity. And then it's revealed that it's somebody else. And then those are separate characters, kind of. They kind of treat Ghostface like he has, I don't know, like it's kind of the same Ghostface the whole time as like an entity, but then it's adopted by a bunch of different people. And I didn't really think about that the times I've rewatched this before, but on this rewatch, I was thinking about it a lot more and just kind of how like not worrying about who's under the mask, but enjoying Ghostface just being like the same kind of like blundering idiot the whole time, and also incredibly scary and sneaky. And gosh, just thinking of him as like his own entity is really fun.
So strong. Ghostface is always very strong.
Yeah, it's very strong.
That bathroom stall.
Yeah,
like shoulder.
And that doesn't make sense for like a lot of the reveals going forward or whatever. It's like, you know, different people in there. So, yeah, it's fun. I don't know. Like this movie. I'm a big fan. Excited to cover more Scream movies.
Yeah.
Same here. Oh, Laura, thank you so much for being here for this one. You got anything
thanks
to promote? What you got? What's coming up?
Yeah, baby. Check me out November 3rd on, I think it's national news because I'm running the New York City Marathon.
Woo!
Oh, sick.
Well, also you can cheer me on if you want. It's my life now, so I can't talk. I am one of those marathon people that cannot shut up about it. Sebastian is counting down the days until it's over.
That's awesome.
Oh my God.
I literally can't. I physically cannot stop talking. The other day I was breaking down, like you have to like eat while you run, like gels. And I was breaking down all of my they're called goos. So I was like breaking down my goo strategy to him. And he was like, I can't. anymore. I was like, so first I have a non-caffeinated one, and then I have a low caffeinated one, and then I have a high caffeinated one with also it has high sodium and high amino acids. But yeah, he's like, go for it.
Yeah, that sounds awful. But I thought you were going to promote locking your doors. But
no, running the New York City Marathon. Even worse, more obnoxious.
No, that's very cool. It's impressive.
Thank you.
Yes. And thanks for doing the pod.
Listener.
Thanks for coming out for Scream 2. It was a good one.
Yeah,
Fun one.
thanks for making me rewatch it. It was a nice break from packing and moving.
Oh yeah.
After the
moving
intruder.
away from that one neighbor specifically, I can only imagine.
Yeah, I wonder if we'll see him. It'd be nice to see him one last time and kind of like be like, hey, we're moving. Just like, I don't know, it'd just be nice to make peace with him.
Yeah, you should get high and break into his house.
We should all get high together.
Settle the score.
I feel like we need to get high together, and then that would be like a full circle, you know?
Yeah. And then break into somebody else's house as a group.
Oh my God. Yeah. Keep it going. Listener, what do you think? Is that what she should do? Let us know. Send us an email, nerdy430@gmail.com. We'll read it on the show. We're going to be back here again next week with something, maybe Smile 2. I can't remember the order in which these episodes are coming out. But we will see you then. And until then, stay nerdy, everybody. Bye.
Stay nerdy. Bye.
Thanks again,
Thanks,
Laura.
Laura.